came here, I only had a title, and I was waiting for my speech, for my talk to arrive as I was immersing in mindfulness and meditation practices here and learning from all of you. And what I would like to share with you today is a little bit of my personal journey, or journey of my colleagues in Australia and all my clients on how we are all collectively healing from our traumas. I was born in former Yugoslavia, one of the Balkan countries, that was described as sitting on a barrel of dynamite. You never know when it will explode. My grandma survived 2 wars, and I heard a lot about First and Second World War, not knowing that war will come for a third time to our country. And it came at the beginning of the 90s, and no one was prepared. In 1998, I had to leave the country with my 2 young children and went to uncertainty to another country, to Budapest, Hungary, and lived there as an asylum seeker until I got the refuge in Australia. And then I landed in Sydney, and very soon I landed in service where I work today, that works with torture survivors. I'm trying to heal my own wounds, and in that process to also support my dear brothers and sisters from all around the world. In our service, we speak at this moment, I think, around 50 different languages. And it's such a rich culture that everyone who comes to work and to visit our service brings to us. It's enormously enriched my life. And questions that I was asking when I was leaving my country is, why all this happened? Wow, what is the purpose? What's the meaning of all this? And I was searching for that answer for a really long time. And then, over the years, I really allowed myself to learn from my clients. I think that I learned more from them than they from me. But then in the process, I got also involved in research. So we are now trying to talk as researchers and scientists, because there is always a question, can we understand a little bit better what is happening to those who are exposed to extreme torture, and learn a little bit more about the brain and about nervous system. And I was involved with a group of my colleagues in a research with University of New South Wales, looking at the fMRI, and 70 of our clients were happy to share their brain and to go through that additional torture going through the fMRI machine and look at fearful faces, just to see what is actually, how our brain is processing this information and what is different from those who were not exposed to torture. And these are our results that are really interesting, and I reflected more on them over these last 5 days because they are starting to make more and more sense. That looking at fearful places actually didn't correlate with symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. It just shows that DSM-4 and 5 and 6 that will come, actually it's just a bunch of symptoms there that is just emerging to show our inner suffering. But what really correlated with was, first of all, exposure to trauma and severity of trauma, and how long people were exposed to torture and traumatic experiences were more and more disconnecting us from our body, and losing ability to read our internal, external cues, and also losing ability to read external environment through our body. Makes sense. As clinicians, we knew this. But then we also ask questions, what is happening to those who were also currently having more stressors in their life? And most of them are asylum seekers. And it's really scary to live in uncertainty like this, not knowing when you will have to return to your country. And what it showed that really broke my heart is that in that case, what emerged in their brain when looking at fearful faces is inability to process information about facial expression and that deep social disconnect. It's hurting a lot. But also what that taught me, and all of us, we knew that, but this is now just confirming what we knew, is that interventions that as a service of 250 people, we just intuitively decided to use, they're biopsychosocially based. And that first intervention, when we started to work with communities, because war and torture is disconnecting communities as well, that vortex and anti-vortex that Peter was talking about is not just about individuals. Communities are sucked to that as well.
May I ask you one question? How do you measure embodiment? Can you say a word or two about that?
Oh, that's a very hard question to ask.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. As physiological measures, we're measuring heart rate variability, galvanic skin response. But we are asking a lot of questions about somatic experiences as well. So, first of our interventions, we have a whole team that is working on a level of community, working with mainstream society, institutions, just preparing the ground and soil to receive refugees and understand a little bit better their suffering. Then we also work with refugees communities, and we have a team that is going and welcoming communities as they are coming to Australia, that are explaining how life in Australia looks like, and also to enrich and help them use their own resources. So we work with community leaders, healers in refugee communities, so that they are empowered to heal themselves in the process. Then we also set support network for families, and we work with schools a lot to support refugee children, with teachers and principals, so that in the small communities where they are settled, they have all support they need, or at least enough support. Then we have to work with families as well. Those family ties get broken or damaged in the process. So helping couples connect with each other. So we have, for example, tango classes where couples are coming to deeply reconnect again and establish this intimacy that was lost. And we have music and rhythm and movement groups for mothers and their toddlers to help them connect together. There's just some of examples. And then we also have the whole program of going into a family and just looking at on the basic everyday needs, are they met or not, that they have a place to sleep and food to eat. And all of that is very important. And then we have teams that are working on clients individually, and we use everything that is available there, from acupuncture, herbal therapy, traditional medicine, energy healing, neurofeedback, biofeedback, different counseling methods, body physiotherapists, somatic psychotherapists, just to name a few of those. And working with individuals, we are again working with families, and then with the communities, and then with mainstream society. So we are just going in spiral up and down, and everyone in our teams is having their role in supporting our clients and in the process healing us as well. But I'm here to talk a little bit more about neurofeedback, and I don't want to waste too much time about explaining what neurofeedback is, apart from telling that deeply looking at neurofeedback is actually a mirror to the brain, is giving opportunity to a person that is trained to deeply look into their own brain also in the way how what Daniel Siegel would describe as energy patterns. And I thought, but Daniel, yeah, that's EEG. Patterns are also energy patterns. And they get disrupted through traumatic experiences. And when you're presented with your own brain, and then you have ways of trying different ways of being and exercising different energy patterns, something deeply can move and shift and allow that space for that healing process to happen. And my team that I'm leading is seeing clients that have really chronic symptoms and that couldn't really move with other forms of therapy, and then they come to us just for a little bit of a nudge through brain exercise so that they can then, through other forms of therapy, heal. And I would like to share with you two of my cases, just to give you a sample of how, as therapists, we work in our service. So I will tell you about two of my recent clients that actually really touched me deeply, and I think that I really grown a lot through working with them. One of them is my Cambodian client who came to Australia in late 70s. I think it was 79 or maybe even 80. And she was a mother of 4 children, and 2 of her children died by starvation in a concentration camp that they lived in. And for all the time she couldn't heal from these experiences. So after a couple of years of therapy, she was sent to me, and when she came, what I was told is that it looks like that she's developing dementia, she's suffering enormously, she's grieving, she's highly depressed, really withdrawn, and unable to really go through what happened to her. She stayed frozen in that state of a mother that is suffering a loss. So first, with neurofeedback, we just nudged her brain a little bit so that she comes and landed present, a little bit more present with me in the room. And I experienced first of her smiles with me, and a little bit more energy there, and awareness that we are together in the room. And then what she did was she brought the food to share with me. And that's when our therapy actually started. Our connection, our deep connection started there. So we were eating together and crying together and laughing together, just being there, holding hands. And I think that through that process, she called me her sister. But I've been her child and I've been her mother, and we've been a lot to each other there. Through food, we actually fed our souls. And she found a way to become a mother again, who can feed, who has this capacity to feed her child. At the end, when we finished her therapy, she moved to Buddhist temple to live there and work with youth, teaching them Khmer language and culture as well. My second client, instead of food, brought me his dreams. He was a survivor of genocide in Bosnia. One night, his whole family, apart from him and his mother and sister, just were taken off the village and were killed, and no one really knew where they were buried. And it took a long time for him to heal. He was very angry, and it was hard for him. He really alienated himself from his own culture and didn't really want to have anything to do even with other cultures. But somehow, first through, again, sitting together and neurofeedback training that brought him back to being present and embodied and with me in the room, we started to explore his experiences, and especially that anger towards the other culture, people from another village, just by being of different religion, it was enough to enter the village and take everyone there and kill. And for him, it was really hard to accept and to find a place in his heart to accept that in the war, everyone was a victim. Everyone suffered. And then one day he came with a dream to me. And that dream was about seeing a procession at the same time. One procession that was going to the left, and those were Orthodox priests leading the procession, and the other one was Catholic procession on the other side. The Catholic procession was well ordered. Actually, that was on the left. It was well ordered, and they were going towards the sun. It was really beautiful, and he was drawn to go in that direction. And the Orthodox one was going towards right. And there was a storm coming, but he said there was a beauty in that storm as well. He went with that Orthodox, and he was of Orthodox origin as well. With Orthodox procession, they entered the cave, and there was a baby there that was baptized. And in the room with me, he understood deeply that he was the one who was baptized. And he said, baby was crying. And I realized just now that I didn't cry enough. And there is still for me to cry and grieve. But also, I can see a beauty in suffering. I didn't know that you can suffer and find such enormous beauty in that. And also from his dream, he understood that both sides were equally beautiful and suffered equally, and that although we are different, and maybe Catholics and Croats are more organized, better organized, maybe more left-brained, and Orthodox are really quite wild and disorganized. And what he said is, I'm discovering that actually my creativity comes from this, not knowing and not being really organized, and that storm that is coming. But both are equally important, and we need both. And he was able to go beyond his own suffering and embrace that we are all part of something much, much bigger than our religion and nation and country that we came from. While I was thinking about all my clients and all experiences that we went through together, I found something beautiful written by one of Serbian famous writers, Miloš Crnjanski. He wrote a book called Movements of Nations. And what he wrote is that one sentence was, there was migration, and such there will ever be, just as there will be births. There are migrations, but there is no death. And I would like to finish my presentation with this thought.